Hi, this is Keith Weaver with Top Executive Strategy Podcast, where CEOs, COOs, and business owners share strategies for success. This is 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best strategies are concise business advice. And with that, we are going to jump right in with question number 1, which is, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hey Keith, this is Wayne Aston. I'm a real estate developer. I live in Draper, Utah, and I have all of my projects currently in Moab, Utah, focused in hospitality.
Nice place to visit and to vacation, so very popular place.
I love Moab, yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so question number 2, what's the best thing about being a business leader?
Being a business leader, the best thing for me is being able to be creative and kind of let my vision kind of come to fruition, but it requires teamwork to do that. So, being a leader means I'm not out there doing everything by myself. It requires me to involve a massive team to actually execute and bring a big vision together.
Well, and I'm not a creative person, but I imagine there's a great fulfillment in actually, like you said, visioning something and seeing it come to reality in where touch and feel kind of a thing.
Absolutely. It's so exciting for me with every new project. I kind of pinch myself to make sure it's real because it is that much fun for me.
That's awesome. It sounds like you enjoy yourself. That's what we want out of life.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 3. I hear from other leaders that their people strategy can often be more difficult than the actual business strategy for their business. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with that. I think in order to have a successful business in any sector, this is a tie-in to, the best thing about being a business leader. It requires enrollment and it requires the cultivation of a certain culture around your team. I spent a decade in the Marine Corps, and teams were very important, and that all has kind of blended into the way of business with a much more loving approach. But it's all about people and people feeling comfortable and buying into the vision so that they're motivated and self-motivated to be a part of it.
I like the fact that you add the loving part because the Marines aren't known for loving. So
not at all. Very good at execution, but not good at the loving part.
Yeah. All right. Question number 4. What strategy would you like to share with other leaders?
This is probably my favorite question, and I would say it's lead from the front. In simple terms, I would never ask anyone on my team to do something I wouldn't personally do. So I like to be an example when I'm giving orders or when I'm making tasks for the team. And applying that to COVID has been a particularly interesting exercise because it really boils down to our perspectives. What is my perspective? Am I viewing COVID as this chaos and this fearful fog of war situation, or am I seeing opportunities to double down and be even more creative? And leading from the front means that's what I exude to my teams. I choose to double down and see opportunity and find silver linings in this COVID situation, and I'm doing my best to convey that perspective to my team.
And that's a really good point, that not only do you have to have that mindset internally, but you have to find a way to convey that to those around you and have them catch the vision as well.
It requires a specific focus on the perspective because it's very easy to have a default mentality or a default perspective if you're paying attention to the news or what's going on around us. It feels like chaos. It really looks and feels like the fog of war. So it requires specific focus to not buy into that and not believe and have a different, more positive perspective.
Very well said. Awesome. All right. Question number 5. What other successful business owners, CEOs would you like to acknowledge here and you think might be great on a podcast?
Well, off the top of my head, Doug here is one of my favorites. He owns Precision Pool and Spa. He built the amazing pool down at Sage Creek at Moab for us. It's one of the most sophisticated pool systems in Utah. And Doug and his crew are responsible for building it. It's kind of the crown jewel of my project. And Doug, he's a great business leader, and he would be great for the podcast. There's a whole handful. I'll have to get you a list because I have some great subcontractors, and the owners of these companies have been phenomenal to travel mainly off the Wasatch Front and the Cache Valley to drive down to Moab and actually, perform these projects. It's been, it's a good opportunity, and I have a strong stable of business leaders in this team.
That's awesome. Well, we'll look forward to talking with him and maybe seeing about getting him on the podcast. And I've seen pictures of that pool. It's really quite a awesome pool with the logo and everything. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing. And Doug did a wonderful job.
Great. So question number 6, just a final fun question. Tell me about your favorite past boss.
My favorite past boss was my head drill instructor at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot in San Diego back in 1993. Staff Sergeant Morris was just the epitome of what you would imagine as just a fierce, totally shredded, physically fit guy. He had his rank and his medals tattooed on his chest. I mean, he was hardcore. And he was a great mentor for me because he was so committed, and commitment has been one of the big kind of themes in my life. How committed am I to certain things? And Staff Sergeant Morris really promoted that at an early age in me, being all in, fully committed, doing whatever it takes.
That's really cool. I don't know too many people that would think of, somebody in the military as being their favorite boss, but it sounds like he was a really cool guy. So
he was awesome. Very inspiring guy.
That's great. Well, hey, it has been great having you on. Before we leave, can you tell people how they can get a hold of you or find you?
Absolutely. So, I have no problem putting my cell phone out there. I've got it all over my website and Google, business pages. My cell number is 801-513-6062. I'm pretty good at returning calls. You can also go to my website at sagecreek@moab.com, where you can see details on that particular project. I have some other fun projects in Moab coming together, so we'll have more info on that to come.
That's great. Well, yeah, we look forward to them. If they all turn out the same, I mean, that's great quality. So
thank you.
That's awesome. All right. Well, this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast. And for more insights, you can follow us on iTunes, at Weaver Business Coaching, or on LinkedIn. And we wish you the best success.
Thanks, Keith.